Hello everyone. Thanks for joining. We'll start in a few minutes. Hi, Ontario, Bill, Cameron, Caroline, Chris, Guido, Jonathan, Amar, Sabine, Sandro, Steven, Sergio, Uli, Uwe. Great to see you again. Thanks for joining. We'll start in a few minutes. So this webinar today will be discussing the impact of Google's AI overviews. I think it's a very pertinent topic. We will also share a short poll with you just to get some insights about where you're at the moment and what's the current status. And yeah, feel free at any time. If there is anything specific that you want to ask, you can raise your hand. If not, we're going to have a full Q&A session at the end. And yeah, we're really excited to start. And as I said, the topic is Google's AI overviews. For those who are not familiar with this revolution that is happening, Google and of course other chatbots have introduced a short summary that appears when you submit a query. By the way, it doesn't appear each time a question is asked. It appears only in some percent of the cases, sometimes 20%, sometimes 30%. We can discuss this a little bit more. But basically, it tries to answer the question that the individual is looking for, rather than just giving a bunch of links. So this is the concept of Google's AI overviews, and we're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss the impact and how we can adjust ourselves to this new change. So what happens when you submit a query basically in Google? So as I said, not for every query, but for many queries, the first thing that they would do, they would try to figure out what you're trying to do, what is the objective of your search. And for those cases that they believe that you do have, that they can give you a shorter answer rather than a bunch of links, they will do a query analysis and then present a short answer. That's the objective. Thinking that you may just be looking for a question, you want an answer, so they're kind of trying to do that. Secondly, what they would do, they would create a bunch of links that they think are relevant to your query specifically, and it will follow up with additional links and some questions that might be relevant to the primary question. So this is a typical page of what the Google AI might look like. And of course, there is variance, and we're going to talk a little bit about those variants also. So an interesting statistics that Airfest survey did, almost 2 million AI overviews. It's quite astonishing that almost 86% of AI overviews correlate to keywords that are ranking on the top 10 pages. So let's say positions 1 to 100, which correlates to the 10 top pages, which means that there is a relatively strong correlation. However, it doesn't mean necessarily that you would rank the same way for SERP keywords or for AI overviews. So this, in a way, provides some guidance and also an opportunity, because 14% of queries that present the website or present some information do not even appear on the first 10 top positions. So even if you're not appearing at all in SERP ranking at the moment, there is a 14% that you can be in the AI overviews without even being in the list of normal SERP ranking, which is quite good. So that's quite interesting information. The second thing that is quite apparent is that there is a big correlation between, now more than ever, there is a big correlation between your brand mentions on the web and in social media in general, and your AI overview ranking. And it's much more dominant with AI overviews than it is dominant with SERP ranking. So this is something that you need to take into account. Again, this is also information from Airfest that they recently did statistical analysis of a lot of brands. which means that when you are putting yourself out there, you need to associate your brand with whatever you're doing much more, not just the keywords or the information that you provide. Okay, so what is the topic, or what is the title of what we're trying to achieve? And that is, in a sense, traditionally it was SEO, search engine optimization. Now it's Ask Engine Optimization or Generative Engine Optimization. These are the terms that are mostly used these days. And but at the same time, it's all connected to one another. The SEO and the AEO are not really detached from one another, although each one has its own nuances, which we will discuss. So the first thing that we need to understand is that AEO and GAO, basically, it's an E actually, increased brand visibility by answering relevant questions, because the way AI overviews and also Chat GPT and others, they try to answer the question that you're trying to query. Secondly, we need to ensure that your website and your content is LLM friendly, or being able to be crawled and understand by the LLMs. It can be Google's LLMs, or it can be others. And we also need to focus on conversion of traffic that arrives to your website, because there is an impact. The fact there is, as we shown here, since you display a summary, it may result in less clicks that were traditionally being clicked from the rest of the results. There is a decline in the clicks. However, the ones that do click probably are more targeted. So if people arrive to your website, you need to be able to convert them better. And this is a topic by itself, which we would cover in a sequence of webinars that we're planning to host soon. But certainly something that you should take into account, in addition to bring the traffic to your website. One of the most interesting things that were identified in these surveys is that there are certain terms that are more popular or more ranking better with AI overviews. And these are presented here. So best, top are definitely at the high level of pages that get AI overviews, because people often search for these, which is the best barbershop in Santa Monica, or whatever. Also, comparisons of services, product, it's also very popular. I would say that how-to guide, it's not much different than talk. I think that how-to guides are definitely performing very well, at least from our experience. And definitely I would put attention on this one. And product pages are the result of traffic that arrives to the website. Of course, they need to see what it is that you're doing. So you also need to pay attention in optimizing these pages. But this is quite interesting. And by the way, how-to guides relate to questions, basically how to do something. But in general, each one of these you can present as a question. What is the best so-and-so in my region? Okay, so there's a conceptually, there's a few elements that we need to take into account when we're trying to rank website content better with AI overviews and traditional searches on also. So it's quite clear that in order for the LLM, the search engine, AI overviews to associate your web pages with potential questions of people, you need to have more content that is questions-based, conversational content, so that it will resonate better, it will impact better when the LLM scrolls your website. It will decide to present your data more and more, because your data is structured in a way that answers the question. In addition to that, you also need to integrate into these conversational questions and the content longer tail of keywords rather than a short keyword, because the longer tail keywords, they show more readiness or interest or target in what it is that you're offering. So the combination of the two is very important. The other thing that we heavily do and optimize is the related keywords. So whenever you have a certain keyword that you want to promote, you also need to look at the topic or the related keywords and optimize them in parallel to those. Thirdly, when a search engine or an LLM tries to understand the content, they would firstly rely on what the website owner provides. And what the website owner provides initially is a title and a description. These are the most basic parameters that is expected to be delivered. And if you do this correctly and in a way that correlates to the content of the page, there's a very high chance that that search engines and chatbots would use this information and would rely on this to be the best interpretation of your website. What happens with a lot of websites, people either leave it blank or don't pay attention to it too much, and certainly do not optimize it in a way that would convert. Fourthly, it becomes more and more important to add schema markup to your content. The reason being, again, search engines and chatbots, they want to know that the data that you present is accurate, and they don't want to make mistakes in their interpretation of the data. Therefore, they would prefer data that is structured. We will cover this schema markup of structured data much more in future webinars, because we see it as a very strong and important trend. But in general, it relates to questions, frequently asked questions, how-to guides, and etc. The last element that we would say that requires attention is to ensure that your website and social media has strong authoritative signals. So basically, search engines and bots, they want to know that you are an authority and that you are a good source of information and not spammy or whatever. And there is a way to try to build this trust into your content. So this is just a high-level overview, which we'll explain and dive in a little bit more later. Okay. The other things that are still basic SEO, and they're still basic and they're still needed, is the interlinking, because when either the LLM or the search engine, when they crawl the website, they want to see relevancy, they want to see things linked in one way, they give priority based on that. So it's definitely very important. You need to ensure that you can allow the crawlers to crawl your website and it's not being blocked by robot.txt. Sometimes by default it is being blocked, or in cases where you're trying to protect your website from over-crawling, but at the same time, you should allow the LLM is the chatbot general definition. And like with anything, if your website is not loading, it's too slow, it might impact your ranking. I wouldn't say that it's directly related, but it definitely has an impact, and it should be addressed. Okay, so what is Nitro, and how are we going to basically use Nitro in order to optimize a website? So we're going to show you a few examples, conceptual examples, how we can automate this and how we can do this. And hopefully you could get an idea how you can do this later on. So basically what we're going to do now, we're going to just select a few queries that we can use. I'm going to get out of the presentation mode and show you a real life presentation. Yes. So these are the queries, and I actually didn't invent them so quickly. They actually came from content that we optimized. So basically, if I would just put this in a search box and I would search for this, and I'll show you in a minute how it's optimized on our website, for example. So this question, if I search for it, would show an overview, an AI overview. And in our case, it shows our page, which is this one. And this is the page that we optimized specifically for this topic, and it is raising, and it's got a conversational question in it. So chatbots and AI, they love content that answers the question as much as possible. Also, when you log into this page, they will show you the relevancy by highlighting it in some way that is relevant. So this is how they help you get the information the easy way. Now, this content that you see here was created by us, by our content specialists, to answer this this question, which is quite annoying, I would say. There is a lot of use cases where ChatGPT fails and people are getting very frustrated. So we try to address this. But the main issue that we can show is that at the end of the day, this is something that we show in our system. So we would, yes, if you go to our page's metadata, you can see that we can see various parameters of the page. And I kind of did a search here, but basically once you log into your metadata from Micro SEO here, you just go metadata, you can select which columns you want to see and manage when you're doing this section here. And here are all the conversational questions that would be relevant to the pages. In fact, we have 3 set filters which you can use also, which shows qualified pages for conversation questions. And it doesn't mean that it's necessarily implemented on your website. Even if you use our system, there needs to be an action that you need to take in order to apply it, because not every situation is relevant, and you need to control how you decide to do it. But what I did in this particular case, I said, show me all the conversational questions that are applied in our meta tags. And then I can see this list here, and then I can search. Let me do it again. Yes, applied meta tags. There's 130 pages that it is applied, and I can see. You see this little V means it's integrated into the tag. It's very easy, and this is done automatically. So these conversational questions are generated automatically based on your content, based on the keywords, based on the relevancy, based on many different parameters. You don't need to do anything with this. It's done automatically, and then it can be applied to the meta tags automatically. I'm not going to just do this now. So if I'm looking at this page, this is the page that this conversational question is actually appearing in. Yeah, and here you can see a conversational question inside the headline, and you can see another conversational question here. So we structured the meta tags, this is the title, this is the description, in a way that includes it. And even though the meta tag is a little bit longer, they still love it. The search engines still love meta tags that they can read, they can understand very easily. Just to show you how it works here, you can see that we have an AI rule generator, which you can decide which components you want to use in one of them. One of those components is a conversation question, and you can choose, if you want to change, you can change the conversation questions into different ones, although the system would probably choose the best one for you. You can also apply this at bulk using our settings for the entire set of pages. But this is an example of pages that have already been optimized automatically. You don't need to do it manually. You see that by adding the conversation questions into the meta tag, there is a direct impact on your ranking for these terms. Now, one would argue that not many people search for this long term, or not many people search for this long term, but it is true and it's not true, because whoever searches for this term is very focused on this specific question. And also, there might be other variants that we may cover in the tags or not that would also resonate and would also be ranking high. So it's definitely working, and it's definitely the way to go when you try to optimize. And we have a lot of pages that different variants of the conversation questions might appear. The other example that we can take here, this one we looked at, this is another one. How can I auto-generate SEO metadata? And you see here that we are on first page. By the way, it's quite interesting because this page is 3 years old, yet it is ranking. And what we found is quite interesting, that content that is fresh ranks very quickly within a week, but then there is a kind of a small drop, and you need to continue enhancing it. But content that is already ranking, even 2-3 years back, still ranks high. What I would do in this particular case, I would take this article here and I would re-optimize it, just make it new, just to keep it up and running, and maybe I will add a lot of more keywords and content that might be ranked. So this is quite easy to do. Look at this one. Yes, this is another term. What is digital PR AI search visibility? Maybe the filter is on. Yes, so basically when we put this term, you can see in this particular case, we're still on first page, but position 6. So the fact that we optimize for these terms or similar terms basically eventually causes for this. And in the system, you can see that there are a lot of different questions assigned to different pages, and it's all done automatically. So you can see original. Immediately you can see the difference between the original and the optimized. Yes, if you want to apply to the entire website, you go into the settings section. And in the settings section, you can decide that you want to choose, for example, the blog section. And in the blog section, you can say, I'd like all pages that include blog. To, for example, to apply conversational question like this. And I can decide where I want to position it. By the way, we have several concepts. It really depends on the website, its characteristics. We can use what we call a user search intent, which is the topic without asking a question, like what the user is looking for without asking it as a question, or you can apply it as a conversational question. Usually we don't put the keyword and the conversational question together. We choose either conversational question, either a user search intent or a keyword. So it really depends, and you can segment it the way you, and you can build the rules in any way you want, and it will automatically go find the pages and reconstruct the tags in a certain positive way. So this is how it works, and I think we kind of showed a few examples, and these examples these are examples where it appears in the system, and where it's generated. We see another one here. It's basically what we covered in these examples. And thirdly, again, this is the position 6. So this is how it works. And basically, one of the things that I would recommend, so first of all, you can go to any page, especially ones that are either ranking or ones that you want to increase its ranking. So we can search them and sort them by impressions. And we can see, okay, homepage is the best performing, but this page here is not necessarily on first page, right? So you can take this page here and you can re-optimize it. Yes. Yes. So basically, we're going to talk about this now. Yeah. So if you look at this page, it's already got some power. It's already got some conversational questions. Let's take a look. Just as an experiment to see where this will take. Okay, so it didn't take for first page. Yeah, so it was just, we also, we knew it was not very high position, so the chances that we're ranking. So we want now to rank higher for this page, right? So basically what we would do, we'd look at the keywords, we would look at the conversation question, and we will try to implement newer content. And one of the ways to do it is use our content generation tool, which is basically a tool that is linked to our system to ChatGPT. And we would just go to the keywords that we want, the most relevant keywords to this page. For example, we have here relevance. Yeah, I can choose ones. And from here, we just go to generate content. And let's do a how-to because it's ranking much better these days. And 1 minute. Let's have those ChatGPT. No, it's not this one. It was this one. Yeah. Software design. Distinguished software design for SEO agency. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, we'll go back here. and we will press generate. And I would also take this URL, copy it, and I would say, so I don't know if you noticed, but our system redirects to our prompt, and our prompt is capable to create highly optimized content, both for LLMs and both for normal search. But we can say, I'd like you to upgrade that content for this page and to answer these questions. Also, you can go here and just choose this one. You can choose, yeah. So where's it? Yes, and we just going to press enter. So the prompt is quite sophisticated. It will go and search for these keywords. It will search for the content of this article, and it eventually will reconstruct. Yes, it will eventually reconstruct a much better page that is more tuned to being ranked these days. Yes. Yes, and it's pretty simple. And of course, you would need to review it, but this would probably upgrade this page to be much stronger. And because we saw that its current ranking is not that great. So yeah, this is one concept, and definitely something that I would recommend doing. The other option is not to go and try to upgrade existing content. Rather than that, we can go just to create new content. And similarly, we want to push content that is currently either close to page one, so we can choose from here, for example. So we can see these terms. We can sort by how they're ranking in Google, for example. Sorry, this is on first page, but you see these one are second, third page, etc. So we would just go select these, just like we did before. And we are not a content writing application, but we're using ChatGPT in an intelligent way. It's totally free. It's connected to our system. It goes to your ChatGPT account. Then you just write generate content, how to. It looks at the keyword that you selected. Maybe we should take this one. It defines the target audience. It allows you to add special instructions, and then you just generate. And you can generate a set of content around this topic. We pass the details from our system, but there's also a very sophisticated prompt here behind, which is kind of running in the background. So this is how we would generate content, and you can also say to it, I'd like you to create the conversational question. Yeah, so this is very easy and useful. Of course, it depends on your website, and it depends on the specific structure in the specific topical authority you have in each one of them, and then you can write the content here in a way that does that. The other thing that we highly recommend is to do what's called schema markup. Schema and structured data is what we explained before. It's kind of putting in the code of the page a structure that the search engine can understand. So basically, we have a few articles around this topic on first page. How to add multiple schema. Yes. In the pages themselves, you can see it from here. This is an explanation, one of the explanations of how you add the code to the web page itself, and we're going to show it in a minute. But the schema code is what's called the JSON code that you need to add when you add certain content. For example, a question would be, this is the question, this is the answer. A company, this is the company, this is the name, this is the address, etc. So let me show you how it works basically in a real article. Yes, yes, for example, this one. Yeah, so if I'll log into the page itself, yeah, so these are the editor's blocks. And usually you put it at the end, although there's no specific position where it should be added. But basically you add here code like this. And here is where you paste, for example, the questions and answers. Here, just paste it in and you save it. So it's not visible to the user, but it is visible to the search engine. Yeah, this is one example. Let me see if I can find another one that could show the code there. Maybe this one. Yeah, it's probably in the background somewhere. Yeah, question and answers. You can see it here. So this is a raw.js. It's not visible in the code itself of the page, but you can see you just can edit this. And yeah, and what happens when the search engine crawls it? It suddenly understands the page differently, and it could just present it much better. Yeah, so I think you get a better understanding of what are the main considerations. So just to kind of recap, add conversational content, optimize your meta tags and data for conversation questions in addition to your normal tags. Because what we did, we took all your existing pages and also optimized them for conversational questions without them being written specifically for conversation questions. Integrate the keywords into your content, optimize your meta tags, enhance schema markup. When you are writing articles, ensure to have an author. The author should have links referring to the author as a respectable and authoritative person. Yeah, so that concludes my first part of the presentation. Now we would open for a Q&A. So I think you should have got the poll in the middle of the presentation somewhere. And yeah, by all means, anyone that has a question, feel free to just ask and we can address these. Yes, there's a question about Cloudflare. Dima, you want to address the question about Cloudflare?
Yes, I think we not recommend to block all AI bots, especially Google bots or GPT or other popular platform, because this is a valuable source of traffic.
Okay.
And actually GPT already published a public list of the AI bots, and it's better to check that they are allowed in robots.txt and not being blocked.
Okay, good. Okay. How can a page get over 100% optimized? Oh, this is a good question. A question about the score of the pages here, the score of keywords in the pages. So our system doesn't have like a logic of 1 to 100. We basically have an unlimited high score, although it is limited. Usually it doesn't go much above 200. But in general, we don't limit the upper part of it. This is how our algorithm works. And the stronger it is, because there's an unlimited amount of possibilities that could be factored into this rank. They change all the time and they enhance all the time. And one keyword can be correlated with many different scenarios and pages. So therefore, we took the decision that it's going to be this type of scoring. But from a perspective of a user or who uses the system, whenever the keyword or the page is green, it means that it's usable, because we have a keywords or a set of keywords or conversation questions that are suitable for this which will be automatically assigned to it. Yeah, okay. Let's see, I'm referring to the score, yes. Yes, how to apply conversation question in bulk. I think we kind of covered this, discussed this. We have this in the settings section, where you can define any set of structure, either taking the existing AI rules or create new ones. So you can go and edit an existing rule, which is a description, and just decide to add a conversational question. We'll show how to do it. Here it's added. You can decide to put it here at the beginning. So although this is not the best example because it's already a question, how can I do something? So I would not add this here, but I would maybe add it here because best. So best, you see it's already here. Yeah. So this is how I would do it. So you need to see and understand what where to apply it. But it's really very easy to understand this logic and do it. I'm not sure what the question about membership pages. If the pages are not visible or they're blocked based on login, then I don't think that it has anything to do with the optimization because it's not being crawled if there's a login. Yes, how do you prevent wrong changes in content? I don't think that we're at the moment we're not changing your content. The only thing that we are doing is adding more logic to your meta tags that correlate to the page content, and that's a legitimate action. So we just try to better explain the page content with conversational questions or with other supporting data. Yes, the system checks the ranking based on an interval that is set here in your settings. What I was about to say before is that, thank you for that. What I was about to say is that volatility of keywords is very common. So each time we ran a report, there is, let's just, we reassess the situation, and you see this volatility here is something that our system kind of, first of all, identifies, then it tries to implement what's called preventative measures. So if we see a drop, we try to figure out what's the cause of the drop, and we change the tags. It's like an A/B testing in a way. We change the tags and so that it recovers, basically. So the volatility is common, and our system kind of tries to recover. So whenever the report runs, it does this analysis. It may reconstruct the tags. It may not reconstruct the tags, all depending on this information. So that was to answer the question, how often do you need to run the system? I would recommend, in general, not running it more than once a month. It's quite enough. The system optimizes the pages all the time. The report simply recollects data. So as long as the snippet is installed, the pages are optimized real time, all the pages based on the meta tags that are appearing here. So whatever you see here is online all the time, regardless of when the report runs. Okay, so let's see. I can pay. Yes. Yes, we discussed adding the conversational rules. Yes, the session, of course, is recorded, and we will send it to you, of course. Yes, someone is asking about location-based dynamic pages. This is a little bit tricky. So I would say that like the pages changes according to your location. It's usually when you're trying to rank for different cities, different locations. You need to be very careful on how you implement this, because usually the search engine would like to see stable content, and whatever technique you're using should not contradict that. Yes. Okay. So yeah, that kind of concludes the questions that we had. If there's anything else anyone wants to ask, just raise your hand. Thank you all for participating, and feel free at any time to reach out to us on any topic, whether you need someone to help you with the configuration, whether you want to help with the creation of content, or any other thing that you might be needing in order to promote yourself. So good ranking, good promotions, and we hope to see you all soon. Thank you very much. Oh,